Well, it's been a terrific 7 days. It's an unpredictable lineup in many ways in the final, so everyone who's predicting that Gary Wilson's going to ease to victory, let's see if they're right. He's in a very strong position, 6-2 up, but it's first to 9. There's a possible 9 frames for that Ray Reardon trophy. Austin O'Donnell getting plenty of support. Of course, it's his first ranking final. He looked ill at ease, frankly, in the early frames, but he made that good 92 in the last frame in the afternoon just to give himself some hope. If he can relax a bit and they start going in, you just never know. But clearly, Gary Wilson in a very strong position, poised to win a 3rd ranking title. Remember, it was only 15 months ago he won his first. Players have had a couple of hours to collect their thoughts after the first session, and now this, of course, the key session of the whole week. But it's got to be said, Neil, Gary Wilson had every reason to be confident coming into day after last night's performance.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was sometimes, I suppose, quite difficult to recreate anything like that, but he's got experience in these big finals now. Not successful originally in ranking finals. He's like a different player. Since he won those Scottish 2 years running up in Edinburgh, Scottish Open. Oh goodness, he's made a mistake there. And he hasn't won yet. That's the other thing. He is 6-2 up, and a lot of people would think that it's just a question of how long it'll last from here, whether Martin O'Donnell can take us beyond the mid-session, which he'd have to have a good first 4 frames to do that. But he hasn't won this match yet.
Well, this is what he needs. He needs Wilson to make a mistake and leave him a chance. And then, of course, he's got to try and take it. He's had such a wonderful week. Great performance yesterday in that semi-final against Elliot Slessor. As I say, just looked a bit nervy early on today, which is understandable.
Yeah, I mean, that essentially gets off to a good start.
6.
With so much ground to make up. That's a really nice shot. That's a lovely little nudge off the bunch, taking 1 red out. He did slow down a bit. I mean, I know that the situation sometimes can't help that, but he was way into the mid to high 30s average shot time. It's gone down a bit now because towards the end of the session he was more fluent. I think it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you can look at average shot times and they mean nothing because players are getting few shots, tough shots. But other times, you know, they do get bogged down. It's been something he's been known for, but he's been a lot better this season on his 2nd spell on tour. It's just good to see him back playing well. Such a good guy. And it's been a terrific week for him, but he really would like to achieve a bit more in this final than he has so far. It's an awkward little shot, this. If it's playing it to middle, it's not nice. This cut is very easy to hit the far jaw, but not see the ball go in. So his cue ball has been a bit lost today, actually. It's the one part of his game that has not been very good. This man has been mostly all over him today. Score was 6-2 in that Scottish Open against Noppon Sankam as well in favour of Gary Wilson. The break has come to an abrupt end.
I think it's a good sign, though, that, you know, he's gone for it there, hasn't he? I mean, he could have rolled up to that yellow, but he's trying to make something happen. He knows something has to happen tonight for him.
I think he's a player that has to force himself to be a positive player. You know, he's a very hard match player. He's always had that in the locker. if nothing else,
Martin O'Donnell,
Leo Scullion called touching ball there, so that helped. Let's play away from the Reds.
Well, there's a packed house here. These tickets have been sold out for a long time, actually, so clearly they would like to see a comeback. It's nothing against Gary Wilson. They just want to see a closer match. And plenty of snooker drama on a Sunday night.
I know that there was talk of it not staying in Llandudno after last year, although it was a resounding success. Thankfully, common sense prevailed because it's a terrific venue, and over the last decade it's built up quite a big fan base for coming to this part of the world for a snooker event, not always the Welsh, but something major.
Well, yeah, I mean, we started at 9:30, didn't we, on Monday, which is early for snooker, and there were lots of people here right from the first ball. I think O'Donnell is another example of the strength in depth in snooker. World number 76, wasn't even on the tour last year. And he's actually the 58th player on tour right now who's reached a ranking final. There's 128 players on the list. Nearly half of them have been in finals over the course of their careers.
Just wonder if he's got a possible squeeze plant here. It's an offset plant. He's got to be careful not to play a push shot on this, but he might straighten it. This is a strange one with everything so close together, suggesting that it rolled off, but I don't think it did. Well, I mean, he definitely was directing traffic there, but it went straight to me.
Well, now the issue, obviously, the red over the pocket. So O'Donnell just tapping into them.
He's got a touching ball, so that might mean that he will take the gamble and try and cover the red by playing down the table. You know, if he's got a touching ball and doesn't do anything positive with it, then you'd wonder where the frame was going. But you might think it's worth trying to cover that red. Well, he's asking for a re-rack, and I can't blame Martin for not wanting one. He put a bit of hard work into those few pots he made. I mean, I don't know what the...
Yeah, re-rack, please.
Well, they have. Fair play. I mean, I think I'd have been reluctant. 17 points, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, they don't carry over. We start the frame again. O'Donnell against Anthony Hamilton, he had two re-racks in the first frame there, but obviously the issue was the ball over the pocket, and neither wanted to take a risk. I suppose it is a very delicate stage of the match. So we're going to start the evening again.
But if they did carry over, maybe that would resolve things. Maybe players would be more willing to have re-racks, or I suppose it's worth a try. But it's a shame, because he grafted hard for those points and they've count for nothing.
Sorry, Neil. Yeah, this is how it happened. Yeah, our colleague Clive Everton, who is a traditionalist, let's be honest, he argues you should carry the points over. Anyway, that's what happened. He thought it rolled off. It wasn't clear that it did. But anyway, the fact the red was over the pocket led to the stalemate. So all of that is stricken from the record.
As I say, I do wonder, just on that last part, I do wonder whether there is an amount of points where you just wouldn't want them re-racked. Something around 20 or more, you'd be reluctant, wouldn't you? If you had a lead of that many, I meant.
Thank you. Frame 9. Gary Wilson to break.
Final session of the Welsh Open final restarts. We've had a re-rack in the opening frame of the evening. 6-2, Gary Wilson leads. He needs 3 to become champion. Clearly Martin O'Donnell needs to win this mini session. Of course, he made the worst possible start, really. Went 4-0 down. Did win the last of the afternoon. In the way he won it, that 92 would have given him some confidence, I'm sure.
Cube wasn't travelling too far. He hasn't left one, but it was a worrying moment.
Yeah, all these little nudges, they'll make a difference. Gary Wilson, I mean, he first turned pro 2004. It took him 18 years to win a ranking title, but he's poised tonight to win a third in, what, about 15 months. Just shows you that winning that first one is the key one, really. Prove you can do it.
Yeah, and while I'll say again, we know he hasn't won yet tonight, so we won't suggest otherwise. But, you know, has anyone ever discussed him as a possible world champion this year? Gary Wilson, he's playing as well as most players. And he's been in that world semi-final, don't forget. That's not as if it's new to him. You know, I'm not saying he'll win it either, but he should be in a conversation, I think, with a lot of the players below. Mark Allen, Judd Trump and Ronnie O'Sullivan not really performing very well at the moment. Anyway, that's for another day.
He's overcut that brown.
By a long way. By a long way. Now, that did not threaten the pocket.
One.
Well, in the frame that was ultimately re-racked, Wilson left a chance, and he's done the same here, second time around. O'Donnell only made 17 first time. His fiancée is here with their two boys, so it's a big occasion. Obviously, he's worked so hard to get this far in a tournament. He wants to put as good an account of himself as he can here this evening.
Nine.
Just potted that into the thick side of the pocket, which is the reason he's kind of dragged it a little short of being perfectly on the blue. He's straight now, so that ends any real hopes of getting close to a red, unless he plays a different colour. And the brown is straight as well, so he can't do much with that. So he's playing at this kind of range now, and this is nothing but a difficult shot. He's queuing over the brown a little bit with his shirt. He looks uncomfortable on this shot. Just wasn't nice, basically. I don't think anyone would have enjoyed playing that shot.
No, he got nowhere near it, actually. And it looks like he's left a chance as well. Whatever happens, Wilson will be up to his highest position in the rankings if he wins the title 12th, if he loses 13. If he does win, he'll be 4th on the one-year list, so Tour Championship will be in that as well. Just ahead of the World Championship, where, of course, he'll also be seeded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got a lot going for him as a player at the moment. He's doing some winning. 2 ranking events, just over a year, another final. But that, again, is not a good shot. I don't even know what he played there. Last night, his cue ball was absolutely immaculate. Tonight, certainly nowhere near like that. Played a delicate cannon on that red, I think, the other side of the cue ball.
Wilson, 8.
So O'Donnell not punished, as he kind of was early on today. That 98 in the first frame from Wilson just sort of was a sign of things to come, but Nothing to write home about yet this evening. Of course, it would be his third home nations title. There's only actually 4 players have won that many, so just underlines the scale of the achievement, really, that could be coming tonight. For O'Donnell, whatever happens, he'll be in the top 64 on the official ranking list. And of course, it's his first season. He's only got 1 year's point, so it's just a great building block for the year to come in terms of keeping his talk on and avoiding the sort of on and off that he's sort of seen during his career. Having to go back to Q school and try and requalify. Now an aggressive shot from Wilson, opening the Reds up. Good cue ball. Wilson won't feel that he needs to force anything here. It's sort of, you feel O'Donnell is the man who's got to really attack to get back into this. He's had chances, of course, before the re-rack and since then.
Very important safety shot here. This has to be a good one. With Reds to the right corner available, he has to get that cue ball back where it is now. He moved a couple of the Reds out of the way. There's not a lot wrong with that. O'Donnell obviously played in behind the green, but he'd be more than happy with the shot he played. It's actually put Gary in a little bit of trouble here. Can be very dangerous when he takes the attacking option, when sometimes the safety shot is not so easy, and he goes all out for a pot and he knocks them in. But even that, I'm not sure here. And clearly he can play a pot, but he's queuing over the green. It'd be just not nice where he is. Only 21 seconds a shot, so he's pretty quick, but this has taken him over a minute because it's an awkward position. Oh, what a shot that is. I mean, what a shot. I don't think he's on anything. He can get to the ground, but either way, he's still at the table, and Martin O'Donnell isn't. And if he went for that, and I'm sure he must have done, absolutely brilliant pot. Now he's just got to try and get the cue ball away from there. Could get in behind the green as well here.
Gary Wilson won.
Well, that's very good play, isn't it? He was in all kinds of trouble, and he seems to have returned the compliment within 2 shots.
Yeah, I mean, after scraping past Jack Lazowski, you know, Wilson, he whitewashed Rob Milkins,
Climax
he whitewashed
of
McGill.
a compelling 7 days
sprinted
of
ahead
snooker
4-0
action here in
against John Higgins,
Llandudno,
just
and
on a
also at the
real
8th Home Nations season,
scoring spree.
with more snooker history about to be written. Can Martin O'Donnell?
And one thing I say about Gary, he's a real hard worker. You always see him on the practice table at tournaments, as O'Donnell plays a fine safety himself there. A really good one, actually. But yeah, you always see him working hard and just seems to enjoy the sort of graft that goes with it.
Foul and a miss. Martin O'Donnell, 4.
Yes, again, it was a good safety shot from O'Donnell. And the attempt at the red was not so good. It was offline. If it goes back, he's probably going to either end up in the same place, or he's going to hit it and he's still going to have the same shot. So he's putting it back and hoping something good will come out of it, but it's hard to know exactly what that would be.
Yeah, Martin, thanks.
Again, it's a question of getting that cue ball tight and stopping Gary Wilson pulling these long balls that he seems to be able to locate very easily.
Foul.
I was going to say, I didn't see him hit one.
Yeah. Gary Wilson, 4. Adam?
Yeah, I thought it was my eyes, but he did miss it altogether. Leo saw it. The referee, Leo Scullion.
Martin actually said to Leo, "Can I borrow your glasses?"
Got himself in a bit of a pickle here, hasn't he, with that long shot? He was kind of bossing the safety exchange a little, and then he did that.
Yeah, the threat here is that brown, isn't it? You know, if a red gets left on, that is kind of waiting, and then either player could be away.
Neil.
Not sure what happened there. I heard Leo ask something.
Yeah, I don't know. He talked to someone there, one of the staff.
You've got radios, so hopefully it works.
tell you what he is very good at, though, O'Donnell. He's always been the same. He can take the sting out of an opponent a little bit with his style of play, which is a very tough match game. But where he's gone a step further this week is he scored well. But he's always going to be very competitive in the safety side of the game. Makes things difficult for his opponent. Ultimately, that will only get you so far, and he knows he's got to score big here tonight. It's another fine shot. That little corner of the table, he knows that's the danger zone for any opponent. Doesn't want to be in there. Keeps finding it.
Well, it's a good job that white held up, because the in-off would have left a long red on for Wilson. It's all gone a little bit sort of sticky on that side of the table. Just about 9 minutes since the last pot.
A very long way away from the pot there, and he might not have left anything. Nothing that springs to mind that's easy anyway. So it was a big misjudgment, which he could have left an easier red on. There's a red that might cut to the middle, that one on the right of the table, up the one of the blue spot, but it's not an easy one. This red cuts into the right corner. Both are difficult cut shots. I think they're both about equally as uncertain, but I think he's going to play the other one. Oh goodness, how close without getting it. Wow, that's unbelievable. He must have thought that was going to go in. It looked like it was going to get sucked into the pocket. How close was this?
One. Six. 7.
He's always got the brown ball as a backup when he doesn't quite get onto a colour. But I wonder if he would like to get those reds open by playing from a red into them. Doesn't seem like he's got that plan here.
12.
But it would be a possibility with the brown over the pocket to play the cannon off of a red at some point.
13.
I don't think he played that. Maybe he missed a trick there by not being more adventurous and getting into the cluster of reds in that strange position on that right cushion. Well, the fact that he's not finished on the brown tells you that was quite a serious miscalculation there, that last shot. Because that was always his fail-safe.
Black one. Martin O'Donnell, 13.
So we're back to this.
He knows he should have made more out of that. There was a half-decent chance to chip away and get 30, 25 maybe in the context of a frame like this. Would be a decent contribution.
Yeah, I mean, he's had probably 3 good chances, hasn't he? The one before the re-rack and 2 since. But now it's just a bit of a stalemate again. Of course, there are various carrots in the background were O'Donnell to win. I mean, obviously be a ranking event winner, which would be the main thing, but he'd get in the Players' Championship, which starts tomorrow in Telford. Champion of Champions later in the year. All of that is not in his mind right now. It's about trying to make things as hard as possible, but ultimately, if you do get chances tonight, he's got to take them, and he's had a few already. If O'Donnell loses the final, his next snooker will be the World Championship because he hasn't qualified for the World Open.
Yeah, both of these lost in that World Open qualifier. So neither player are going to China for that event.
No, Gary Wilson's actually signed up for the World 9 Board Tour this year, but obviously if there's a lot of snooker to play, then he's going to have to manage his schedule. There's an event actually starts, the UK Open starts the day after the World Championship. The World Snooker Championship, that is.
Yeah, I think it was a decent shot. Probably didn't quite play the half-full cannon, but he wanted to get it further across, so the red closest to the right corner was not available. It's a massive target here, but he has to just make sure, Gary Wilson, that he doesn't leave a red on. Maybe a red to the middle is a possibility if he's not careful.
Just to say, of course, Martin O'Donnell got back on the tour through the Q Tour, the rankings, and Michael Holt will be back on through that. But there is another place from the playoffs, and Peter Lyons has won the latest event on that this evening in Leeds. He's actually, of course, home professional at the Northern Snooker Centre. So he'll be in the mix for those playoffs. Yeah, the concern is obviously the two reds in open play. So he's taken nearly 2 minutes over this.
Even though he's sort of gone in behind that red,
Martin O'Donnell,
of course it will be called a miss. And there is a red, the red that he attempted to hit. O'Donnell will have a look at it, I think. Whether he'll get a better chance to pop one than this, I'm not certain. If it goes back, I'll be amazed if he's got an easier shot. If he plays that same route, he came across missing the blue and got beyond the blue, I'd be surprised if there's any more rewards. That might be his best chance to pot a red from that. If he went a different way, which I think he didn't, that red to the left of the pink might have been potable to the middle. But the only problem with this Gary Wilson escape is he comes very close to the blue off that first cushion. Because if he hit that, then anything's possible. I think all he's got to do is put a fraction more pace in. The line looked pretty good. I thought it was a good attempt to hit it. It took a long time, 2 minutes to work it out. But like I say, he's getting very tight into the blue off this first cushion here.
foul, a miss. Martin O'Donnell, 5.
So this time a chance has come along for sure.
Yes, and O'Donnell was correct. I mean, I thought he would continue on that line, which meant he wouldn't have this chance, but just grazed it on the way through.
He's already got a reasonable lead, 26 here. He's obviously going to have to develop red soon, but another chance for O'Donnell. He's had a few tonight so far, in amongst all the safety.
Thank you. 1.
It's not finished perfect either, by any means.
Green ball.
If he plays the green, he doesn't want to let that cue ball run down too far, so he's not on the end red. Played that well. I know he's kissed the blue on the way through, but it's better than finishing too far down. Still feel there's a lot of snooker to be played in this frame with those reds there all packed together.
Thank you. Martin O'Donnell, 4.
So once again, the scoring chance comes to an end prematurely. Gary Wilson, 21 minutes since he's potted one, but he's on this red. And then it's up to him to get the rest into play.
One.
Oh, this could be absolutely perfect. This could be A1. This was the miss. Wilson keen to get back in scoring ways. Top spin at pace, shift the 5 reds from the cushion. Oh, that was very unlucky. I think he's quite animated there, but to be honest, it was very unfortunate. I mean, how much more can you do to try and pop balls? He played a red in the middle that went all around the pocket, and then this happened. His reaction was quite something, actually. Praying that it won't go in. Desperate luck.
I suppose only good news was he didn't actually open the other reds up, so he didn't leave anything on. So back to this again.
Foul, the miss.
Well, things just happening, aren't they, to Wilson? I mean, how's he found that gap? Try doing this. See how you get on. So O'Donnell edging closer to winning this frame now. 43. If he takes the brown, it'll be 43 in front. You only need another red.
Yeah, and I think the red on the left of the 3, he was just checking to see if it would go. It's a bit touch and go. Maybe if you're right behind it, you could knock it in, avoiding the other 2, but from other angles, it'd be quite a difficult shot to find, really. He's screwing towards the red off the brown anyway. You might want to nudge them. Oh. You hit it that hard and it just throws off at a very different angle to the one you're looking for. There's no bite on the cue ball. That was... he butchered it, to be honest. I think the red goes, I do, but it's not into a full pocket. He might think it's worth the risk, given it does put him in a position where snooker will be required. Didn't play to pot it, so he's doing everything he can to sort of dampen down the spirit a little bit of Gary Wilson in this opening frame. I'm not sure that's his intention, but he's playing it hard. You know, he's got a big deficit. He doesn't want to take a risk, and you can't blame him for that. You know, he's got to find a way back into this match. And even if this frame takes a bit longer, and there's no rush, not for O'Donnell tonight. Biggest match of his life. Strange shot, wasn't it? He had to get the snooker there, because he's leaving this red, and that's all that he needs, as we say. That was an odd one. Maybe he lost his patience.
One.
Well, he'll play on for the snookers, that's guaranteed. It's been a real slog, this, but O'Donnell with a degree of safety here. 44 in front as it stands, 43 on.
I think I might pop the green if I was Martin here, because I think it's quite an awkward. But it's a ball to get a snooker behind where it's placed. He might put a ball in a cushion, which I'm not saying that's a bad decision. But if you could set a table up somewhere to get a snooker where the black is and where that green are, then you know, snookers can be got behind those balls where they're placed. So I think I might have just potted it and got it back on its spot. The point's irrelevant.
Oh, where's this cue ball? Wow. Ooh.
Well, it's a bad shot, even though it never went in off, because that should not be in the equation, the in-off. And that's why he's smiling. He knows that full well. Could do a red high-value colour, Wilson, then make the plan to get the snooker on the last red or something along those lines. So there's the red, the blue to follow, and that means if he does get the blue, cue ball slowed up, but he's got to play it really. He takes the green, it's another snooker he requires. So this has got to go in. If it doesn't, he might concede the frame.
Gary Wilson, 1.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an ordeal. Of course, it was re-racked, this frame, initially. So, you know, play started about 50 minutes ago this evening. O'Donnell is sort of crawling over the winning line in it. The red goes in. It surely is. Of course, ideally, Wilson doesn't really want to pot it, but he's the sort. He does like to play on, Gary Wilson, for snookers. Just something he does.
I think there's an argument that he might just be better off just getting on with the next frame for his own state of mind. It's been a horrible frame for him, really. He's been quite unlucky a couple of times in it. Might be thinking about just putting the frame to bed and moving forward. But as you say, he's playing on. I was watching some footage on YouTube the other night of the, someone sent me the 1978 World Championship, and Eddie Charlton was playing on. He was miles behind, but not Gary Wilson.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall there. So a long old frame that, but Martin O'Donnell needs frames, and he's won that one. Gary Wilson's lead is reduced to 6-3. Well, it took some winning the first frame of the night, but it was won by Martin O'Donnell, because he was 6-1 down in the final. It's now 6-3. Ray Reardon Trophy will be won by the first player to get to 9.
Thank you. Frame 10. Martin O'Donnell to break. Thank you. Settle down, please.
Cleo Scullin just asking for a bit of order. The last ranking final to go to a decider was over a year ago now, the World Grand Prix last season. We haven't had many close matches of late, really. I mean, we've had matches that have been close and then someone's pulled away at the end, but let's see. This has got closer. Gary Wilson won't want another frame like that. It didn't really suit him. Good part. I'm not sure he's on this black.
It's quite annoying, isn't it, that it's not quite on this. It just runs and runs that cue ball. Too far. Seems a waste, doesn't it, of a good shot. You don't quite get position.
Rainbow. Martin O'Donnell, 1.
Very nice. Good safety shot that. The packer tight, so it's likely that if completely snookered, O'Donnell will be able to roll up to them from cushions. I think he can see red, but not to hit a thin edge of it. I'm sure we can see all of that red, maybe not, but they can see some of it through that gap. Well, that's not worked out to plan. Probably should have done better with that escape, leaving the bottom red.
1.
Now does he go into these? Does he go into the pink full ball? It wasn't a small target, quite honestly, and the fact that he nearly missed that red is the reason he left the bottom one on. Playing this, going into them.
Foul.
Tell you what, it's not happening for him tonight, is it? Luck-wise, I
Martin
mean,
O'Donnell, 5.
that was unlucky, but the red has gone in like a bullet into that pocket there. Was there a plant that he never saw? You've only got to have a few moments like that to wonder if tonight's not going to be your night. And at the moment, the look in his eye, understandably, is one of great disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second, aggressive, positive shot he's played where something horrible's happened. And Martin O'Donnell, of course, now has the chance to reap the rewards of the fact the Reds have been opened up. He's made 4 centuries in this tournament. Hasn't all been sort of slogging through. Of course, made one in the decider yesterday against Slessor.
Six.
But you just cannot afford that. Not at this stage, not at any stage of a final, really, but certainly when you need frames on the board, you need to put breaks away.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all. I mean, he was given the opportunity there, and it was a bad one to miss, to be honest. It was a great chance to take another frame back. Kind of means that the Wilson bad luck now doesn't really count for anything.
Six. 7.
And that'll do nicely.
12.
These are the 2 reds he wanted to be on.
13.
He's a good scorer, Gary Wilson. I mean, we saw it last night. If anyone was in any doubt, if you watched back last night, goodness, he was powerhouse scoring. Up there with the best, that was that display.
Twenty.
Little bit of a sloppy last shot, though, where he's overscrewed, getting all this tackle out, which he didn't think he'd have to do. It was a pretty regulation shot on the black, just to get him behind that red. He screwed it.
Thank you. 21. 28. 29. 36.
I spoke to Gary after he won the Scottish Open this season, and I said, did it feel different winning it again? And he said it did. He felt he played better this season. And even though you think winning the first is a big step, he said he could appreciate it more winning the second. No one could say it was just a one-off, a fluke. You know, he got another trophy, same trophy as it turned out, but he's now a multiple ranking event winner.
45.
If he wins this, he'll be only the 29th player to have won at least 3 ranking tournaments.
45.
Yeah, and so many times you've heard players say, or people about a player, well, if he wins one, he'll win a lot of events. But it quite infrequently works that way. Gary is the exception. Because to win one is an effort, and if you haven't won one for a few years, why should you start winning loads?
50.
But Gary is doing that. If he wins tonight, that is. And what he is
51.
of these two, even though O'Donnell has played well and he's made 4 centuries, including that one in the decider, as you say, yeah, Wilson is a better scorer, isn't he? And that's as simple as that. You can just see it. Very dangerous scorer.
Yes, he has a more natural fluency, doesn't he? Just the way he walks around the table. This was the miss from O'Donnell. Remember how he got in when Wilson knocked the red in off the blue, splitting them. So it was a big chance that for O'Donnell, but right now he needs snookers. So it's a chance missed. And of course it meant that Wilson could get out of his chair, where he was stewing a bit about the lucky dad this evening. Just calm himself, make a nice contribution and settle into the evening.
66.
And it's going to leave him 2 away from the title and the Ray Reardon Trophy.
67. 74. 75.
Wilson, of course, last night nearly had a maximum, then did have a maximum. He's had 4 centuries in the tournament.
$80. 82.
And he'd like another. He's promoted the Brown. Every chance.
Yeah, it's typical of a chance where if
85.
you're Martin O'Donnell, you say, well, these should have been mine, because it really was a question of that. O'Donnell missing that, quite honestly, very easy red.
89.
And it was just a question of Wilson coming out of his chair and taking what was O'Donnell's. Whether there was a bit of luck involved at the start doesn't matter. Wilson has taken these very fluently.
Pink for the century then. Well, it looked like things were conspiring against him, but that miss from O'Donnell opened the door, and Gary Wilson back to his old self. Looking, again, a very strong favourite to win this title here this evening. He enjoyed that, didn't he? 107 from Gary Wilson in the second frame of the evening. O'Donnell had a big chance there. He didn't take it. Wilson leads 7-3.
Snooker on Eurosport is sponsored by Ambassador, the premium value cruise line.
Okay, thanks.
Ben Newcomrie is
Thank you,
hosting,
female
of course, the Welsh Open once again. It's been
Very well to be.
really well attended, well supported from day one. Packed house for the final session, but how many more frames? It's 7-3 to Gary Wilson. He's 2 away. Just made a break of 100. O'Donnell will know, of course, he has to cut out all errors if he gets another good chance like the last one. Absolutely has to take it, otherwise there'll be no comeback. And Wilson, of course, would have sympathy, I think, for, you know, coming into your first final. His was the China Open 2015 up against Mark Selby, already an established winner, indeed world champion at the time, and was beaten 10-2.
I suppose it was such a set plan, even though the reds were a way apart, that he said try and pot the first one naturally and he would see the second one go in. But he could be away here, and as I say, bursts of scoring from Gary Wilson are quite breathtaking at times. There was that match mentioned last night where he made 4 centuries in a row in a match where he was 4-2 down against Chris Wakelin. He was saying that it should have been 5. Very few players can produce scoring like that. That's like world-class scoring. That's O'Sullivan, Higgins, Hendry mode, isn't it?
12.
But he's capable of it in spells.
$13.
4 hours. That doesn't include that re-rec. Quite a lengthy opening session. We had a 57-minute second frame. And in fact, that was even longer, wasn't it? Because there was a spectator taking ill.
20. $21.
Well, is he on the black? He probably deserves to be. You never know quite where all the reds are going to go. Well, perhaps with a trace of right-hand side, but if you can pot the black blue without any side or come up the table, and that's what he'll play. I think he feels a bit unlucky about what happened on the previous shot. And I think he's left this red on as well, so O'Donnell has got to make something of this chance that's turned up from nowhere. You can see along the line that the red does go past the black.
One. Eight. Nine. Sixteen.
Well, he's not as straight on this as he would like to be, to the middle. And that's why he's missed it. And I'm afraid a few errors have
O'Donnell, 16.
really crept into his scoring game tonight at a time when he had to up his game. I wonder if a red goes through the gap here. Yeah, that goes right through.
One.
That was handy because at first, with the red up the table being covered by the green, it felt that O'Donnell had left nothing.
Gary Wilson, one.
Wow, he's got nowhere near it. That came as a big surprise the way he's been playing. This is a big misjudgment on a black off the spot.
One.
Well, there's no real explanation for that, but again, O'Donnell has to take advantage. It's not like he's not been getting chances this evening.
Eight. Nine.
Played that nicely for that red because he could have gone too far or finished short, but it's perfect.
Seventeen.
frame that looked like it was slipping away when he missed that red to middle, and very quickly back at the table with this chance.
$25.
Got to take it, however, at this point, with a lead of 19 and counting.
Him in that black was such a surprise. The scale by which he missed it, having just made a century last frame.
$31.
And O'Donnell was struggling. He needed something to happen, and this is what happened. Gary Wilson missed this to set up the chance that O'Donnell is trying to make the most of.
I don't think it even hit the jaw of the pocket. He missed it by so far.
32 to the good. Two more reds needed for 7-4, which would guarantee an interval.
$39. $44.
Yeah, so a twist in the tail there. It kind of looked like things were petering out a bit for O'Donnell, but that miss from Wilson, unexpected miss. And here he is, he's poised for 7-4. Judd Trump, remember, was 7-3 down to Jangandra in the first Home Nations final of the season, the English Open. Turned that round.
$52.
Well, credit to O'Donnell, because he was struggling. And then it becomes, doesn't it, the big next frame klaxon gets sounded, because if you can make it 7-5, then you just never know. Wilson was looking a heavy favourite until he broke down there.
58.
This could yet turn into yet another Sunday night thriller.
60.
Important that O'Donnell starts scoring. He has done here, of course. It's only his third half century of the whole match.
$63.
He's worked so hard to get to his first final. Had to work hard to get back on tour, first and foremost. And he's determined to put up a good showing after a magnificent week here in Llandudno. Win or lose, he wants to feel he's given his best in this final. So this was an important contribution and a great break in the end.
$78.
An 85 clearance from Martin O'Donnell from the unexpected miss black from Gary Wilson. This final not done yet. Martin O'Donnell not done yet. He pulls another one back to trail 7-4. Well, a rather purposeful stride about Martin O'Donnell as he returns to this arena, having just made 85. A nice clearance. 7-4. Big frame now. If he can win this, He's in touch at the interval. 8-4, obviously Wilson then just one away from that lovely Ray Reardon trophy. The target, he clearly would have set himself, O'Donnell, tonight in this mini session, is win it. He'll have done that if he wins this frame.
It's a big one, isn't it, this one, because at 7-5 we've still got a match on. At 8-4 you feel that Wilson is still with that 4-frame lead, and frames are certainly running out, so a lot depends on the outcome of this 4th frame of the evening. 12th of the match. But I thought that was quite a good break that he made. He certainly was a little quicker through it, more fluent. Yes, the balls were there, but he took them well. Part of his game, I think, is improved. When he's in, he can be a bit more forthright in his shot selection. He's worried about this shot because of the red that's close to the pocket. Hard to not leave it on. Say close to the pocket, he's not hanging over the pocket, obviously on the right side, but clearly Wilson will be having a dart at it. He missed that because he played it with left-hand side. Straighten up the cue, we'll check it off the cushion, not go into the bunch.
We should say, and it's a small subplot, there's another person interested in this, Chris Wakelin, who at the moment is in 16th spot for the Players' Championship. He'll be in if Wilson wins. I say that because he put a post up on social media this morning, basically sort of biting his fingernails. He'll play Judd Trump tomorrow night, actually, if Gary Wilson wins the tournament.
And then he played to the cushion, not to the cushion and back out behind the yellow. It's probably safe to say that Gary's not had the best of run of the ball this evening. But a couple of the shots that he's missed were completely his own fault. There's a little nudges have gone in favour of O'Donnell, but he needed something to change from this afternoon. That's a good shot. Exactly as played. Very good. Hit the top side of the red.
Yeah, he played it well, and also he sort of, well, whatever he was feeling about the running O'Donnell had, he didn't let it show. He just played a good shot.
The last couple of shots he's played, balls flying around everywhere. O'Donnell. I don't think he's left anything very easy. some of the colours might be off their spots, but actually it's not altering the fact that a good chance would arise if someone was to leave something, because nothing's that difficult. Oh, now the black's gone for now, so let's change that. Tied up by the red. I think he took a risk there, trying to pop the red and maybe free the black at the same time. Well, there's plenty of reds to hit, but not many to either pot or play good safety shots from. It's quite a cluttered area down there on that left side. Don't know if he can pot anything along there. And the safety shot, as I say, is quite an awkward one. The two reds were lined up to the right corner past the blue there. You can't get to it directly. Well, it's quite an acute angle. This is the cue ball being right behind this red of the table makes it gettable, but it's not a simple shot to drop that in. You can easily hit the jaw on the way through. There's not a lot of pocket that you can see. very good shot. I mean, it's right down that channel along the right there. And of course, he was always going to use the blue. It wasn't a fluke that he potted it off the blue. I think this was part of the plan.
So, big colours in unorthodox positions. The pink will be available. Red spread far and wide.
Five.
Yeah, for that reason, you maybe come to the table with a different mindset, not to make a century or whatever it is. Get 30 or 40 where the balls are and see where it could lead from there. I still think those two reds might be a plant to the right corner. We've got a view from the back of the auditorium at the moment. I thought it still looked like one there, and it's just that they can't quite get through to it. Yeah, I think they're very close, but there's a red in the way.
One thing I'll say for Gary, and I think this is absolutely stood him in good stead, when he won that first Scottish Open, he barely celebrated. He was happy, obviously, and delighted to get a trophy, but he didn't go to his head. It was kind of, okay, we'll tick that box, now on to the next one. He didn't have a good run the remainder of the year, but of course ended up winning it again.
18.
Same sort of attitude, really. It's a question of now trying to become a more regular winner.
19.
If he pushes the left-hand red away from the other two, the plant becomes available. So I'm sure that's on. And I think he spotted it much earlier in the frame when he couldn't do anything about it.
25.
From straight, I think is a certainty. It's just a little bit left jaw. But
27.
the red has come in the way of pink, so the reserve again, as it was earlier in the evening session. The brown is where the break's going to continue from. Just that you see, it was a good plant, but the other red just got in the way of the line of the pink to the same pocket. Now, this is missable. Very clean. The kind of evening it's been for Gary, a little frustrating. You could have easily seen him miss that one, that rest shot, but it went straight in the middle of the pocket.
Yeah, good sign, potting that. In this big frame pre-interval as he attempts to get within one of the title. Remember Gary Wilson, having turned pro in 2004, initially dropped off in 2006. He was off for 7 years. It looked like he sort of come and gone in the game. So he's a bit of a late bloomer, if anything. And determined now he's got himself in the 16, got himself in the winner's circle. He's going to stay there.
42. Well,
there was a twist in the last frame, wasn't there? Martin O'Donnell Had the chance when Wilson missed unexpectedly. Got to say, though, there's a bit of a spring in Gary Wilson's step now. Looking confident again. Well, he was, but until he missed that. Wow, another unexpected miss, straight pink.
That pocket's not been his friend tonight, that left middle, for a number of reasons. It was never there.
One.
Well, I have to say that was completely unexpected, and, well, let's see. Will history repeat itself here? O'Donnell does get the chance that he was hoping for, maybe not expecting.
Seven. Eight.
It's nicely played. Yeah, and if there is going to be any turnarounds, I mean, obviously he'd have to win this frame anyway for it to be the case, but a turnaround would involve a pretty dramatic change of fortunes, I think. Gary Wilson feeling uncomfortable having not won the frame when he was going so well. Just a series of circumstances that would enable O'Donnell to come back and maybe win this match.
14. Fifteen.
Well, there it is again, scarcely believable.
21.
O'Donnell still with work to do, but the frame looked over. It looked like 8-4 all day long.
It's hard to think he'll win the frame here. I mean, he could do, but there are a few reasons why it wouldn't happen in one visit. The red by the black, and of course the red on the left side, although of course as a left-hander that is reachable at least. Doesn't make the shot easy, but he can reach it. This is about the same sort of shot from the other side of the table that Wilson has just missed to the left middle pocket.
Twenty-eight.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have much angle on that pink, so looking now for a telling safety. $15 points in it.
Interesting shot there to get the red on the cushion in play rather than the other one. I thought he was going to play off the right-hand red of the two. But he played the one down the cushion just to bring that out as well. So it's probably a good choice of shot. Wilson playing safe from this red, not going for it. Cue ball was racing around the angles there. Well, the colour's all out in open play now, so again, it's a question of whoever makes the first mistake might lose the frame.
Foul. Gary Wilson, 4.
Well, it's made no difference as far as a pot available.
Now, what might be significant, he's knocking the yellow on the cushion with the fact he's trailing. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, fair point. The yellow might be an issue because he's going to need it, and Wilson may not if he can get in before that. Played that one well. That's a nice safety shot. He's got to be a bit careful on this right-hand red. It's a little close to the cushion. If he plays the up and down safety shot, he could get a double kiss if he catches too much of it. Well, he went very thin on it, so that was okay. Got to watch out for the red now. He doesn't get the cover. This is a possibility for O'Donnell. I think he'd like to get, if he's, the red that he pots next would be the one you would hope just below the pink, but he wants to be on the black from that to get the black on his spot for the red down the cushion. Important he gets on the black here. Very important. If possible, of course.
5. 6.
He's either going to pop the red down the cushion or he's going to roll this in and play the snooker behind the black when it's respotted. Oh dear, that's a terrible miss. He's not doing anything there.
Martin O'Donnell, 6.
I mean, he could have played it to actually try and get on the red. It's a little bit negative, the whole process, and he ended up missing one that he had no right missing, to be honest. This is... I mean, he's just trying to roll it in and play the snooker. Wilson didn't try and do anything flash there. He got a bit of a let-off. I mean, everyone misses balls, but that one was pretty inexcusable, really.
Well, Gary Wilson will need the yellow, but importantly also the green. So that's one thing that has slightly changed.
Well, he's gone with the shot to play the snooker, and he's played it well. I mean, there's a little bit of risk attached if you don't get the snooker. You leave a chance at the red. But he has played it well. Seems that Gary Wilson, when he's chanced his arm a few times tonight, he's not got much luck out of the situation. He's left a thin red, but it's not an easy one. So it's a big shot now. And of course, Dev was saying that Gary Wilson wanted yellow and green earlier on in the frame, but of course the same applies to O'Donnell now. He He's got to get onto the yellow and then onto the green. Still will be behind when he does so. It's not an easy shot. Well, especially from there.
Matarodano, 8.
Well, this is a huge moment now in the final on the colours. 8-4 or 7-5 heading to the interval. It's been a battle, hasn't it? We started 2 hours ago tonight. This now the key moment of the whole evening.
Yes, it was not a good shot. I think he must have played it up and down to the right cushion there. Well, the thing that Gary Wilson missed, at the moment it's not costing in the frame because it's not perfect here to get from green to brown, but if it does, it's going to be an uncomfortable few minutes if he loses this frame. He was absolutely in command. Mr. Pink to middle for no reason. But he hasn't lost the frame yet.
Matarodano, 2.
There was a terrific chance.
Yes, it's no consolation that he's on the brown, missed the green. So the battle on the yellow that was vital now becomes the battle on the green. He walked around pretty quick there, didn't he, just to check he'd actually got the cover on the green, which you can see he very much has. So this is trouble for O'Donnell, got to get it safe. Otherwise it could be 8-4 and Wilson's one away from the trophy.
Very solidly played out of that snooker. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Wilson was tempted by this. If it's not straight, it would be better. He's got the angle to run it through, and he has. His head towards the brown. It's tough. And it's been a stodgy old frame, so it's not always easy to get your best cueing together on a shot like this, but I can't see that he'll refuse it. Well, he has. There you are. That shows you that he isn't confident, because he isn't normally a very attacking player. I guess it's like anything else. You know, if you don't fancy a shot, then you can't go for it. But I've seen him play shots like that basically all week, and he's knocked most of them in. He's walked around the table here. I'm not sure why, but he must be thinking about not playing it directly, because I can't see why would you not play what you can see, and he can see the edge of it. He's determined he's going to play it off cushions. I'm surprised by this. Oh, goodness me, what has he done there? He could see the green anyway to play safe from it. That's a
Free ball.
gross miscalculation. What on earth was he doing?
Yeah, but I thought it was a risk, you know, get it the black off 2 cushions, but I mean, he got the blue on the way through.
Yeah, and he could see it, as I say, the green initially. Interesting was he's going back, but will he just try and hit the green now? Because there's no doubt that he could see, maybe not a quarter, but a chunk of the edge of the green, which I think would have just kissed onto the black for safety.
Yeah, it's an important replacement. Not so much the blue, the cue ball, obviously. Colin Humphries helping Leo Scullion.
The blue's nowhere near there.
Another 6
And
inches.
in fairness, as I say,
2 inches.
you know, Leo is not thinking about where that blue is.
Half an inch.
He's thinking about
Which way?
The same way you were going.
he's thinking about where the cue ball was in relation to the green.
Yeah, that's the important ball, because, as you say, you could see some of
Yeah,
it.
and then towards the
We'll
cushion
come to that
very
when they've
slightly.
sorted the blue out.
And the blue is important as well, obviously, because he hit it on the way through, but it's just not something that poor old Leo was
Slightly,
thinking
it's not
about.
much.
Towards the cushion.
Yeah, it's side cushion. It's about right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But you know, the fact that he hit it on the way through playing this shot.
That way. That much. Same again. That way. Yeah, that's fine.
Now, what was he going to try this time?
Okay, give me that.
You know, I see down the line of this.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Colin.
Well, it'd be really nice to see down the line of this shot, because he could see the edge of it. I still don't know why he's not playing it directly.
Foul. And a miss. Gary Wilson, 4.
I honestly don't know what he's doing on those last 2 shots.
Well, it seems he left the pot on. I was just thinking, I mean, but for the knuckle, I think that would have been a free ball. But anyway, the green seems to be on. Wilson 12 in front. Green and brown he needs for 8-4.
Now, the guys in the studio might have an opinion, but I've no idea why he didn't directly hit the edge of that green, because he could do, and it looked a very safe option, and yet he decided something else needed to be done. To me, that was a huge mistake when he could have got closer in this final. Massive match for him.
Big moment for sure. He's battled hard tonight. It's not been fluent Gary Wilson, despite that century he made in frame 10, but he's won this little mini battle, it would seem. Blue stays out, so one snooker needed.
Gary Wilson, 7.
Otherwise, Wilson's one from becoming Welsh Open champion.
Thank you.
Yeah, the double kiss left the blue, and Gary Wilson has won a 42-minute 12th frame to go to the interval with his 4-frame advantage re-established. It's been hard-fought stuff tonight, but the fact is, Gary Wilson is 1 frame away from collecting the Ray Reardon Trophy and becoming Welsh Open champion. He leads Martin O'Donnell here in Llandudno by 8 frames to 4.
Thank you. Frame 13. Gary Wilson to break.
So the players are back after the interval. Gary Wilson won a huge frame of nearly 43 minutes duration to get to 8-4, to get that breathing space and to get within 1 of the Ray Reardon Trophy. Martin O'Donnell has got to win the last 5 if he is to complete a fairy tale week here in Llandudno as champion. The thing is, he's had the chances as well in all 4 of the frames there. Just on Ray Reardon, I had the pleasure of actually going down to Churston Golf Club to interview him last year, and he's still very, very sharp, still a great character. So many stories about his decades in the game. And a very significant figure as well in the 1970s. Alex Siggins, of course, was a player who brought a lot of people to snooker, but Ray Reardon, in a way, was the establishment figure, but he's also someone who demanded change, and some of those venues in the 70s were not great. And it was down to Ray Reardon to an extent that we ended up at the Crucible, because as world champion, he had certain authority, and the rest really is history.
Good safety shot. He's got a good blend, really, Gary Wilson. He can play good safety. He can mix it in that department. And we know he's been a very heavy scorer this week. He can do that too. So he's no obvious weaknesses. Maybe, you know, Gary Wilson's temperament has been something that's let him down in the past. I think he's admitted to that. He seems to have got that under control as well. In general, he's a bit emotional out there. I suppose it's all about Martin O'Donnell, though. He's got to prove his temperament after that last frame, which he might well have won. How is he going to win 5 frames in a row? It looks a very tall order, doesn't it?
It does, and these stats, they're not great. It's not been the highest quality final. There's no point pretending otherwise. Certainly, from his perspective, they've all got to go up in the remainder of this match. If he could, you know, it's all ifs and buts, but if he could, you know, win a frame in 1 visit, it does just send the message to Wilson that he's going to get this one. It's not going to be handed to him. Playing a slow roll here into them. He's worried it's rolling off. That is the risk. So he's set up Wilson for his first chance here. Just trying to drop into the reds, but he's left one on.
It's not the kind of shot you want to be playing, is it? That really, I mean, it's the last resort to roll up to a ball. You're in the lap of, you know, the gods as to where the balls will finish if it just rolls off or anything.
One.
Worked out very well, but he got serious backspin on that one. He kind of almost was willing the cue ball out of that little area. And I suppose it's one of those where you can't put too much screw on the ball on that, because you've got to keep screwing back through a lot of balls. So this could be where he gets this match one. It's interesting, isn't it? Because he's not played all that well today, Gary Wilson, not as well as he can, but you know, if he goes on to win his third ranking event and he's not played his best today,
7.
there's something ominous about that, isn't there? He's become a winner when a lot of players that are ranked higher than him, it's a long time since they won anything, and
8.
he's moved his game up a couple of notches in the last 18 months, and now he's picking up trophies.
No, that's absolutely right. I think what's changed is his head doesn't drop now. You know, you tell himself his temperament in the past wasn't always the best, but he's become very tenacious, even when things aren't going well. And, of course, it's not just about the final, it's about the whole tournament. You have to win 7 matches to win a Home Nations, and from the last 16 to the semis, he whitewashed Robert Milkins and Anthony McGill. Of course, he played a wonderful match with John Higgins, held off the comeback.
14.
So he's played really good stuff this week. Just got to try and get it won now.
Twenty. One.
Obviously going to be difficult without the black available to him. He wouldn't even want to try and get on it with the red on the black spot. He'll have to try and win this with whatever is in the middle of the table. Just overscrewed a bit on that pink for the red that he wanted to the right corner. Might still end up playing it. The alternative is the one into the left pocket, but have to get the rest out. And find a way onto a colour as well, which won't be easy on this shot. Put a bit of right-hand side on that, just to miss the reds, and he's not perfectly on it.
Well, no, he's missed an easier pink than this, hasn't he, already this evening?
Yeah, big deceleration on that one. He slowed the cue down, and we talk about decelerating. He meant to hit. The cue's meant to be going at the quickest on the time you hit it, but he's slowing down and you overcut them. See, Gary Wilson was quite disappointed for a while after that pink to middle he just missed. I saw him sitting there and kept shaking his head as if to say, well, what's happening? But what's happening is he is 8-4 up, first to 9 to beat this man, so he shouldn't be too despondent. He's on the verge of another ranking title, his third. Just having a little bit of an in and out evening. He started 6-2 and he's held this session to 8-4, so he's just doing fine. And he's not really being put under loads of pressure by O'Donnell, who slowed up a little bit again. Took quite a while on that last safety shot he had a few issues with. Well, that's not dead on that plant, but with the cue ball up the table, it kind of becomes a more natural shot to make it into a plant. What I mean by that is if the cue ball was down to the left, you know, that's just not really a way of making it, straightening it up. A lot of these plants are about where the cue ball is in relation to the two balls you're trying to make into a plant, I think. A shot like that, it was a natural to go close to the pocket, and also the cue ball coming back round the table.
Yeah, so he's in for a second time in the frame. He needs to get this one. Just sort of feels like he will get enough chances. Whether he takes this one. Be interested to see what he says if he wins. He's quite sort of self-critical at times, Gary. Hopefully, though, he'll understand the achievement. If he does get over the line, 3 ranking titles, having spent
6.
18 years from turning pro before winning his first. And it will put him in a very strong position for the rest of the season.
Eleven.
Well, he's overcutting quite a few of these shots now.
11.
The last 3 balls he's missed, he's overcut considerably. I don't know if that was a deceleration as well, but all of a sudden he's just not lining them up the right way. And he's got his own little battle, despite being, as I say, on the brink of another win. But as I say, again, he's not really being pressurised by O'Donnell now. Played brilliantly all week, Martin O'Donnell, but he hasn't really lived up to that today, and he knows it.
One.
Chance number 3. This is the difference, isn't it? You know, you fluff one chance and the opponent clears up, you bang under it, but that's not what's happened.
felt that the yellow was the only ball that took him all the way around the angles. He couldn't do much with the green. Pink was the wrong side as well. Now, has he got the shot to pop this red on the black spot and hold for the black? Of course, it would be freed up by then. Yeah, this is... he's virtually over the line here. If this black goes in, he gets on a red. He's already accumulated points in a not particularly pleasing way to him, but he's still nearly there. I mean, if he is to win, it will be interesting to hear what he says when interviewed. He'd probably be quite critical of himself, because he was even, in some way, suggesting he was disappointed towards the end of the match with John Higgins after all that break building, and it was a fantastic game of snooker. He held John Higgins off. It's hard to think that he could have done
12.
A lot more to beat someone as good as John. He played brilliantly. Today's been a different story, though. I hope he will be encouraged, because he's starting to win ranking events.
He's played better of the two, and that ultimately is what you've got to do in any match. Martin O'Donnell, big occasion for him, his first ever final. That 12th frame was a killer.
20.
And Gary Wilson just checking the scores, needs this black, and he will add the Welsh Open to the 2 Scottish Opens he's already won. He just got that breathing space, didn't he, at 8-4. 7-5 maybe could have been a different story.
27.
But the story is, it's a hat-trick of ranking titles for Gary Wilson.
28.
Wonderful week for Martin O'Donnell. Wasn't even on tour last year. I'm sure in time he'll take the positives, even though he'll be disappointed with his performance here after that wonderful semi-final win over Elliot Slessor. Gary Wilson as well, the semi-final for him, the highlight with the maximum against John Higgins last night.
43.
The question was asked, wasn't it? Could Gary Wilson win a ranking event going back to late 2022? And since then, he's won 3.
Gary Wilson, 43.
Gary Wilson is the winner of the Welsh Open in 2024. It wasn't the highest quality final, but he has prevailed by 9 frames to 4 against Martin O'Donnell, and he will collect the Ray Reardon Trophy. And also, of course, the cheque for £80,000 will be coming his way, and a rankings boost to 12 in the world. That's his highest ever position. So we'll now have the interviews.
We do hope that you have enjoyed this final here in Llandudno this evening. Let's have a little chat with the players, shall we? Starting with this evening's runner-up, Martin. This is always a tough interview. Commiserations, you came up against a fierce competitor this evening.
Yeah, look, Gary's class, you know, he's won a few ranking events now, and you know, it's a bit disappointing, obviously. I've played some great snooker this week, some of my best, and to play like that and not really make it difficult for him was disappointing, but, you know, he's still got to pot the balls, and he did plenty. He had plenty in the tank. Even if I came back, he could have gone through the gears, so congratulations, Gary, mate, well played.
Congratulations indeed. It was tense at times, a real roller coaster.
Yeah, it was, you know, I felt all right at the start. It was only until I started missing so many easy balls that it got a bit tense. But, yeah, no, listen, I'll learn from today. There's good things coming for me, so I'll keep my chin up and hopefully be better next time.
Yeah, let's talk about your achievements. Yes, indeed. You arrived here, no expectations, 76th in the world. You beat the world champion. You made it to your first ranking event final. You must be feeling very proud.
Yeah, I am. But, you know, listen, at the end of the day, we want the silverware. And but no, once I take a few days to reflect on this week, you know, listen, I've played really well this week in all my matches, to be honest, apart from today. So apologies, guys. But can I say thank you to the crowds all week as well, because it's been fully supportive and they've been amazing.
Listen to that. I know they've enjoyed watching you, because it hasn't always been easy, has it? You dropped off the tour twice.
Yeah, no, listen, this is not an easy game, you know. There's ups and downs, and I've had plenty of downs and ups, and you just got to keep going, you know, and I've always kept going and believed that I could be in these sorts of situations, and I've proved a lot to myself this week, and I believe I'll be back one day.
And watching and supporting you throughout, your fiancé and your children, they're here, causing havoc backstage, I have to say. A word to them about their support.
No, listen, I wouldn't be stood here without the support of Anna, my missus, and my 2 kids. You know, they're, you know, ever since Anna walked into my life, really, she's changed me for the good. And we've got 2 beautiful kids, you know, who love me to bits. And, you know, listen, we'll go again. You will go again, I'm sure. Have you had a taste of it, these finals? Yeah, big taste, you know. Definitely want to come back. I've got some unfinished business after today's performance. But no, listen, this is Gary's moment, you know. Congratulations to him and his family, and all the best for the rest of the season. Well, you played your part. Thank you very much, everybody. Your runner-up, Martin O'Donnell. Gary, I want to start the interview, but I'm blinded by these beautiful shoes, I have to say. Glitter. Gary Wilson, 2024 Welsh Open champion. That sounds all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, what a mad few months I've had, to be honest. Obviously, having won the Scottish, I thought, you know, obviously I feel like I belong in these kinds of situations, but I never really expected another one to come so soon, you know. So just, yeah, really happy with obviously getting another one on the board. I want to say congratulations to Martin. He's had a great tournament, battled really hard today, and just showed that class around the table, really. Never sort of showed any emotions, really, and just got on with the job, and that's what we've just got to try and do. That's what a lot of players learn at some stage, even though it was a bit of a scrappy game. It wasn't the best standard tonight. You just got to battle on, because you never know what's going to happen and what's around the corner as well. So, yeah, that's all I try to do as well, and as I say, congratulations to Martin on a great tournament.
And you have played phenomenally as well, especially yesterday. That 147, quite special here.
Yeah, yesterday was obviously a lot better. I started off okay today as well. I thought it was, you know, I felt decent early on. I kind of just lost my cue action completely the last few frames. Don't know why. A little bit worrying, to be honest, but as I say, you go through ups and downs all the time. I'm just happy to get over the line, happy to get another tournament. And again, echoing what Martin said, absolutely fantastic crowd. There's been full support all week for all rounds, and it's been absolutely amazing. Long may the Welsh stay in Llandudno, because it's been amazing, yeah.
The crowd like that one. They do like that one. Because it's not been an easy journey for you either, has it, to get this far?
No, another one of them sob stories, I'm afraid. You just go through a lot of years of struggling, and as Martin said, you have a lot more downs than you have ups. I'm just grateful I've had quite a few ups recently. Yeah, it's been amazing lately. I don't really know what else to say other than, I mean, if I'm going to mention something, Stan Chambers. I mentioned it the first tournament I won, and I'm not doing too bad, Stan. I'm getting there for you, mate. So trying my best.
That's a lovely message, I have to say. I spoke to your dad earlier, and he told me you were a very sociable character. Now, does that mean you're going to be sociable this evening and possibly celebrate?
I'll try. Is anywhere open round here? Because Edinburgh's rubbish.
Anybody want to welcome Gary back home? Yeah, there we are. And also, I have to say, I spoke to your wife as well, and she told me, I don't really like snooker. Nah, it's not for me. Opposites attract, obviously.
Nah, she's not fussed. She doesn't even come in and watch. She just sits in the lounge. So, no, she's obviously a massive support. A lot of thanks goes to her and everyone around us. Paul Rinaldi at the Snooker Club, North Shield Snooker Centre. We've got the best facilities to play on. There's many people I could thank. I could go on and on. Obviously, my parents and that as well. Yeah, just, as I say, delighted. And yeah, going to definitely go and have a drink later on, see what happens.
1,000 pints waiting for you by the bar. Gary Wilson, 2024 Welsh Open champion. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations.
Would you please now welcome your presentation party from title sponsors BetVictor, Mr. Sam Boswell, and the chairman of the WPBSA, Mr. Jason Ferguson. We begin with your runner-up, collecting the runner-up medal and prize money of £35,000, Martin O'Donnell.
Yeah, fair to say, I think Martin O'Donnell would have taken this at the start of the week, wouldn't he? Didn't produce his best in the final, but what a tournament.
And now your winner, collecting the winner's medal, prize money of £80,000, the stunning Ray Reardon Trophy, and the title of 2024 BetVictor Welsh Open Champion, the Tyneside Terror, Gary Wilson!
Well, Gary Wilson getting used to this, isn't he? Have to make room on the mantelpiece for another trophy. He's right, it's been a long journey, but he's now firmly ensconced in snooker's winner's circle. And there is another trophy for his collection. It's been a terrific week of snooker here in Llandudno. And there is the last man standing with the Ray Reardon Trophy. Congratulations to Gary Wilson.
And many thanks to our commentary team of Neil Foles and David Hendon. What a moment again. As Dave said in commentary, he's been making a bit of a habit of this now. He's become the 29th player to win at least 3 ranking titles. And tonight, he's crowned the winner of the Welsh Open. And, of course, the Ray Reardon Trophy is heading back to the northeast, guys.
It sure is. Listen, that's exalted company. Only 29 players in the history of the game when you consider the players that are around. It's a brilliant night from. Look, it shows you how difficult these finals are to play in when you look at both players' respective semi-finals. One beat Luca Brissell, one beat John Higgins, with probably both of them their performance so far of the season. The final didn't quite live up to billing in terms of standard, but it's all about winning that crystalware, Jim, isn't it? And he got it done tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The damage was done in the first session, going 4-0 up. You know, Martin was always trying to play catch-up, and he didn't really get any chance of getting his teeth into the final. He had a few chances. He could have got out there 7-5, but Gary, you know, proved that he's a great match player. And I agree with Martin. If he would have come back at him, Gary would have had something left in the tank. And, you know, good luck to him. He's a fantastic guy and, you know, great player now for sure.
Seal